Hi, the weather's really good, so let's go for a walk, and you and I can talk then. So, if you've clicked on this video, it's a sign. So no matter if you're a high school student, if you're already completed your bachelor's degree, or in your master's and you're considering going for an Erasmus exchange, for example, this is the right video for you. Honestly, how do you even start? You have to decide if studying abroad is for you, which in my opinion, I think everyone should try living abroad for at least a little while to build their independence and basically learn a bit more about the world. I moved out of my parents' house when I was 18. It's my 5th year studying abroad, which is crazy to say, but I did 3 years bachelor's degree in architecture in Belfast, Northern Ireland, and then after that I decided to move again and move to Sweden, KTH in Stockholm. And the university in Belfast was actually Queen's University Belfast, so if you recognize those, that's where I went. So I'm actually training to become an architect. Someone just passed by, that was so awkward. So if you're considering studying abroad, then the number one thing I would recommend doing first, before you even do anything, is know what your priorities are. There's a lot of things you can take into consideration. Is it a place specific that you want to visit or live in? Is there a financial reason you'd pick a place, whether there's scholarships or maybe there's a tuition fee that would be lower for you? What kind of languages do you know? Those important aspects are that can allow you to pick. So for me, when I was picking which universities I want to study in, I picked the ones that teach architecture in general, because that was the most important thing to me. Secondly, which of those are in the top 500 in the world? The rankings for me were super important. I kind of went through the list of the top 500 universities in the world. There are a few rankings that you can look at. There's THE, so Times Higher Education, and QS. There are the most famous rankings that you can have a look at. Thirdly, the language. So I know English, Polish, and German. So those are the languages I feel comfortable speaking. So I basically filtered through the universities that taught architecture in the top 500 universities in English, German, or Polish. But for example, if you're interested in studying in a specific place, then you can apply to multiple universities in that area. If you want to study only architecture, then obviously you have a list of universities that teach architecture. If you have multiple languages that you know, the world is your oyster. You can study anywhere. Once you've picked the universities that fit those categories, you have to look at the tuition fees and any requirements that they have. And universities right now are super good at listing everything specific to your country. So for example, if you're applying to a school in Sweden from Poland, there's a whole tab that is for Polish students, and then you can have a look at what the requirements are. But okay, you picked your universities that you want to apply for, you picked the courses that you want to apply for, and now you look into the requirements. And then once you have those requirements, it's pretty simple. You have to basically make sure that you have all the documents you need, all the certificates you need, and don't be afraid to email those schools. Don't be afraid of that, because I've been working 2 years now as like a student ambassador, and I'm one of those people answering those emails, and that's our job. Like, that's what we have to do. So don't be afraid. Don't think, oh, it's a dumb question. There are no dumb questions. Of course, there are more questions that you can Google yourself. If you can use Google and you find your answer, great. But if you Google something and you don't know, and there's something specific in your mind, then just send the email. One thing that I wish I prioritized when I moved to Sweden was housing, okay? Housing. When you have a place, a university, the next thing you should do is immediately look for accommodation options. You don't want to be like me and stay in like a hotel hostel situation for 2 weeks in your first 2 weeks of university in a new country. You don't want to do that. Please look at things early in advance. And if you're scared about cultural differences and living abroad and staying away from family, I mean, again, I can talk about this in a different video, but if there's a will, there's a way. It's always worth the growth, and it's always worth the development. I mean, this is just an introduction to this whole topic. The first step is being interested and thinking about doing that and taking the first step. And the first step is really looking up what you actually want. You can do anything if you put your mind to it. But now, also, I've already graduated from architecture school. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Those were the basics of how to get started. You gotta start somewhere, right? I'll see you around.